ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So welcome to the Manah Siksa series every Friday, Saturday and Sunday morning. We have completed discussion on text 6 of the Manah Siksha. After uprooting the gross anarthas in the form of Asat Varta, Katha Mukti Vyagra and Api Tektva Lakshmipati, Raghunath Das Goswami speaks about the 6 enemies in the heart, Kamadi, in the 5th verse. In the 6th verse, after you have conquered the 6 enemies, there's another anartha which we need to conquer, that is Kapata Kutinati, which is compared to bathing in a full-blown great donkey's urine, hot urine. So now in verse 7, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is, Raghunath Das Goswami is going to speak about after even conquering duplicity, there is the root of all anarthas in the form of Patishta Asha, the desire for fame. So that is the last thing we need to conquer. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Raghunath Das Goswami are going to now, especially Raghunath Das Goswami is going to speak this verse, and we will see Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary today. This is a very beautiful verse. Pratishtha drishtva swapachiramani meriti nate katam sadhu premna sprishati suchire tannanumanah Sada tvam sevasva prabudhaita samantamatulam yata tam nishkashya varitam ihatam veshayati sa. As long as the unchaste dog-eating woman, Swapachi Ramani. So this is a woman, Ramani. Ramani is Strilinga, and she is not an ordinary woman. She is unchaste. She is a prostitute, and not only an ordinary prostitute, she is a prostitute who eats dog meat. Sopachi Ramani. So Raghunath Das Goswami is comparing the desire for prestige to a unchaste prostitute dog eating woman. Very, very heavy. So as long as the unchaste dog eating woman of the desire for prestige, pratishtha, dances in my heart, me ridi natet. So as long as you have this desire in the heart for prestige, it is like who is dancing? An unchaste prostitute who is dog eating prostitute. She is dancing in your heart. How can the chaste and the pure lady of love for Krishna touch it? Katam sadhu premna sprishati suchir. So there is a dog eating woman who's there in your heart and dancing. So how can a pure chaste lady enter that heart? And the premna here is compared uh, to a chaste lady, pure lady of love. So how can that enter the heart? And sadhu premna can refer here to love for sadhus, to love that sadhus give to us. Sadhus also give best of prem to us. So that also can refer to sadhu premna. It can love, it can refer to the love of Krishna that sadhus manifest in the heart of the devotees. And premna, if you see, is feminine. It's not masculine. Premna is the feminine form of prem. And Raghunath Das Goswami is emphasizing the feminine nature of love in contrast to the unchaste dog eating woman of the desire for prestige. So that's why he has used it as a feminine. Therefore, O mind, katam nanu mana, you should always serve the incomparable, atul, beloved devotee command of Krishna's army. Sadha tvam sevasya prabhu daita samantyam atulam. So how to remove this unchaste dog eating woman of the desire for prestige? Serve the pure devotees, incomparable beloved devotee of Krishna, who is completely free from all these traces, who will immediately throw out the unchaste woman and establish the pure lady of love in the heart. Yata tam nishkashya. Nishkashya means he'll throw it out. Tvaritam iha tam veshayati sa. And then he will establish the chaste lady of Premna. Premna. So we saw the different shades of meaning of what Premna can mean. So here you can see graphically, very nicely, it is put out. So there is this Swapachi, and she's a Swapachi dog eating prostitute. She's dancing in the heart. And the chaste lady of love, Premna, they have to leave. So just like, to give a clear example, if the husband is associating with a prostitute and the prostitute is at home, no chaste lady will enter that home. So similarly in the heart, the desire for prestige, which is compared to a dog eating unchaste prostitute. So the chaste lady of love in the form of Krishna Prem will not enter the heart. And please remember, this prostitute also has her illicit lover, who is deceit, which we had dealt in the 6th verse. So she has a lover in the form of deceit. And by their union, they will give rise to so many other children. And all these children are Jiva Himsa, Kutinati, Ujala, Pratishta, all that what we had discussed in the last verse. So we'll go through that flow. So this prostitute with her lover will dance in the heart and give birth to so many children. Okay, now let's look into the Shlokarta. Shlokarta is very interesting. This verse answers any doubts about why a person who has given up material enjoyment may still have deceit in the heart. So this verse is answering the doubt One who has given a complete material desire, why still deceit is sitting in the heart? The reason deceit is sitting in the heart because of this pratishta asha. Because pratishta asha gives rise to deceit. Pratishta asha, who is an unchaste dog-eating woman, she will associate with her lover in the form of deceit. So you have to now remove this unchaste dog-eating woman, and then deceit will also go away. That's the point. Okay, shlokartha. Drishtva swapacha ramani pratishta asha. The desire for pratishta is an unchaste dog-eating woman. Pratishta asha is the desire or hope for honor. The hope for honor. Even though one may have dispelled the other anarthas, unwanted things, it is not easy to uproot pratishtha. It is not easy to uproot pratishtha. It nourishes and generates the other forms of deceit. It nourishes and it generates the other forms of deceit. The desire for honor is the root of all anarthas, but since it is never able to recognize its own fault, it is shameless. Like a prostitute, shameless it is. Fame is like dog flesh, and one eager for such fame is called Drishtva Swapachi Ramani, a dog eating promiscuous woman. So, what does the desire for Pratishta, what does Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur compare? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. What does he compare for the desire for fame? Anyone knows? What does he compare Pratishta Asha to? Yes, Tirthpat Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Dog's stool Prabhu.
Yes. Pratishta Asha Shukera Vishta. Shukera Vishta. Very, very, very heavy comparison. So the hog eats stool. Its food is stool. It likes stool a lot, especially wet stool, not dry stool. And it passes stools. So you can imagine. And one devotee was graphically describing, suppose you wear a turban on your head. Somebody wears turban, because he wants to be recognized. Everyone should see him, that's why they wear the turban. And this turban is filled with hog stool and it's smelling. And this is what you're carrying on your head. And you're, nobody, you don't see fault at all because you're so shameless. So here Raghunath Das Goswami is giving a different comparison to a dog-eating promiscuous woman. In the previous verse, the three types of sadhakas were explained. For each type demonstrates the desire for pratishtha in a different way. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur had dealt with the three types of sadhakas, the Swanishta, Paranishta, and Nirapeksha. And the Swanishta can exhibit deceit in the form of 6 ways, the Parinishta 2 ways, and the Nirapeksha 8 ways. So now same, these three types of sadhakas can exhibit Pratishta Asha also in different way. A Swanishta sadhaka wants to become renowned as a religious, benevolent, and sinless. A Parinishta sadhaka's hope to be known as devotees of Vishnu, as the knower of spiritual subject matters, and as detached. And a Nirapeksha sadhaka wants to be known as spotless and renounced, as the master of the conclusion of Shastras, and as having a perfect understanding of devotion. So this is how, in all these three categories, Pratishta Asha can come. As long as one maintains a desire for honor, Pratishta Asha, deceit will also remain. So now we get the connection between Pratishta and Kapatata, deceit. Now, what is the reason, as long as the desire for Pratishta kapatata will also remain. What is the reason? Can you think about? Tell me. What is the reason this statement Bhaktivinoda Thakur is making? How do you understand it? Yes, Rasparan Mataji. Yes, Rasparan Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat. So as long as one desires pratishtha or honor, that person can go to any level to manipulate things and see to it that he or she is in limelight. So that is why one part of it will be deceit as well.
Yes. Okay, with the graphic example of what Raghunath Das Goswami has given, can you give the answer why deceit will remain? Anyone would like to? What you said is true, but sometimes graphically explaining things become more clear. Yes, Rasparani Mataji. Why you think the desire for honor is, if it is there, deceit will also remain? What is the reason?
Prabhuji, I cannot remember any specific example.
But
can see
Raghunath
that
Das Goswami himself is giving the example. He's comparing to the desire for pratishtha as what?
as a dog eating unchaste
Yes, woman.
woman.
Right. So why then kapatata will also remain? What is the reason?
Because basically the woman is unchaste, and
Okay.
the very fact that she's a dog eating unchaste prostitute or woman, that itself shows her character, that what sort of consciousness such a woman can have. And if that is compared to this thing of pratishtha, so the behind pratishtha, we can just imagine how his psychology will
Okay.
manipulate.
Yes, yes. Okay, Sunita Mataji, you want to add some more light into it? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. She will have many children. She will have many kids.
But before having children, to have children, she has to associate with what? Men. Right?
Yes,
So
yes.
here we saw the picture, if you remember, this Pratishtha Asha, she will associate with her illicit lover because a prostitute likes men. And this is compared to Kapadta. So unchaste prostitute will always associate with illicit lover. And that illicit lover is Kapadta. And then she will give birth to children in the form of Jiva Himsa and all other anarthas. So that's why it is called as the root of all anarthas. Okay. And until one is free from deceit, one cannot obtain the saintly people's pure love. So as long as one is not free from deceit, one cannot attain love. Okay. Any questions up till now? Any questions, any clarifications? Before we go to the next line explanation. Anyone has any questions? No. Okay. Okay. Now Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks about Suchir. Okay. One question. Yes, Dr. Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam. Having desires for material world, is it okay or it is not okay? Even if you are in bhakti or you are not.
Having desires in the material world to attain certain goals.
Yes.
Yeah, both material goals and spiritual goals. In the beginning stages, sadhakas have certain material goals because, one has his conditioned nature and that is, harmonizable with dharma. And in terms of having a spiritual goal to attain prema, love, or attain bhava bhakti, and by which we practice sadhana bhakti, that is a more desirable goal because sadhana bhakti should lead to bhava bhakti. But even in the conditioned stage, having a particular goal, because we have a conditioned nature, and if it is harmonizable with dharma, then it is okay. Like, I'll give you an example. A Brahmana is basically in the mode of goodness. And he has, being intellectual, he naturally has an inclination to study Shastra. So this desire is harmonizable with dharma. Now, he should have a pure desire to serve the Lord without having any personal motivation, but he is not at that platform. So he has a desire to study Shastra, and that is harmonizable with dharma. Now, this same Brahmana, after studying Shastra, he feels that I should enter the Grahastha ashram, I should get married. So this desire to to become married is also harmonizable with dharma. After he has got married to a chaste wife, but if he has a desire to associate with some other woman outside the marriage, that is not harmonizable with dharma. That will be considered as a pap or sin. So there are desires which are harmonizable with dharma and which are not harmonizable with dharma. So we'll have to distinguish in that material desires, whether they are harmonizable with dharma or not harmonizable with dharma, and then pursue those desires while practicing spiritual life in our conditioned state. Once we are transcendental, then the subtle body is completely pure. We have no other desire except the desire to please the Lord. That's a different platform. That's a very, very elevated platform. And that is our aspiration. While we are having that aspiration as the highest, but while traversing in this world, we have certain desires which should be harmonizable dharma, and that to pursue is not a problem. Is it clear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Yes. Okay. So let's see what Bhaktivinoda Thakur has to say about Suchir Sadhu Premna. Now, Sadhu Premna, Bhaktivinoda Thakur quotes definition of love of Godhead from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Pure love of Godhead, Srila Rupa Goswami states, Samyanmarshito Swanto Mamatati Vasyantika Ankita Bhava Sa Eva Sandratma Buddhe Prema Nigatyate. Buddhe Prema Nigatyate. I am sorry because these words have not been properly aligned. Samyan Mashito Swanto Mama Mamata Ativ Sha Ankita Bhava Eva Sa Sandratma Buddhe. When Bhava condenses and intensifies, Bhava Eva Sandratma, when Bhava becomes condensed, just like the milk, when you keep on boiling it, it becomes more condensed. It softens the heart completely. Samyan Mashito Swaanta. Swaanta means the heart. It completely softens and one becomes filled with great attachment. Mama Ativa. Ativa Sha Ankita, and possessiveness towards Krishna. Buddhay Premna Nigatyate. There is a Mamata. Mamata. Krishna is mine. Just like the Vrajvasis think. Krishna is my friend. Krishna is my lover. Krishna is my son. I am the servant of Krishna. So this is their consciousness. That intense love is called Premna. Love for Krishna of a feminine nature by learned scholars. So this is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu definition. Only when the desire for Pratishtha is cast away does the whole heart become softened. Otherwise, it is not possible. Please mark Bhaktivinoda Thakur's statement. So one might attain very advanced stages of Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, but to attain Prema, we have to become free from the desire for Pratishtha. So the generals of the devotee army cast off the woman and her lover from the heart, which was mentioned in the verse. Krishna himself sends the woman and her lover out of the heart. So this woman, Sopachi, and her lover is Kapatata. They are cast away by Krishna. And the desire for honor is the root of the plant of deceit and pretentiousness. Kapata kutinati, this the desire for patishta, that's the root. You can see everything is growing here in the form of different disguises we put. All three categories of sadhaka should avoid the desire to enjoy being honored and glorified. So here a sannyasi is being glorified. So that desire one should be free from that desire. Even the grahasthas also should be free from that desire. The chaste lady of spiritual love enters clean heart. So when the heart is completely clean, then she will enter in the form of sadhu premna. Okay. Prabhu Daita Atulam Samantam. Powerful, incomparable commanders of Sri Krishna. The meaning of Prabhu Daitya is the pure servant of Krishna. So we have to associate with the pure servants of Krishna. And when we see how they are completely free from this desire, they're completely free from sadhu ninda, then we'll also desire, and by their mercy, then they will bestow, this sadhu premna. We should serve such, pure devotees. That's what also Updeshamrit says. Nindadi shunya ridhaya lipsita sangalabdva. Attain the association of such Mahabhagavats who are nindadi shunya. Their heart is completely devoid of criticizing others. And they are bhajana vigya. The word Atula indicates that there is no comparison to such servant who is a Samanta, a special commander of the Lord, like Srila Prabhupada. What a glory, how Krishna glorified Srila Prabhupada. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread the Hare Krishna movement in only entire South India and maybe entire India, you can say. But he empowered his pure representative Srila Prabhupada to spread all over the world. And Prabhupada was completely humble and always attributed, all that glory to his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So there is no comparison to such a servant, the special commander. We should always pray for him. The rays of Lord's internal pleasure potency are always reflected in the heart of such devotee. This potency can very easily flow and accumulate in the heart of another individual, which will cast away any misgivings and help pure love to grow there. So coming in touch with the sadhu's heart is like a full blossomed moon. And when you come in touch with him, the reflection of the moon, please remember, the reflection of the moon also, touches our heart, and we also feel his consciousness. And we feel the purity. And this is how we should make our heart receptive, so that the internal pleasure potency, the Ladini Shakti, flows from the heart of the sadhaka, this pure devotee, to our heart. This is the same case with materialist, as Hiranyakashipu said. He compared it to a philosopher's stone, Chintamani, and any object which comes near it, say a rose, immediately on the stone, the reflection of the rose is there. So similarly, if you associate with materialist, we will get material desires. If you associate with spiritualist, we'll get the spiritual desire for sadhu premna. This flow of spiritual potency can happen through the pure devotees' embrace, the dust from their lotus feet, their leftover food, and their beautiful instructions. So by embracing the pure devotee, by the dust of their lotus feet, their leftover food, and the instructions. Very, very interesting. Instructions also will help. Thus, Lord Shiva says in the Padma Puran, Aradhanam sarvesham Vishnu aradhanam param tasmat paratram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. Of all kinds of worship, Aradhanam sarvesham, worship of Vishnu is the best. Vishnu aradhanam param, recommended more than the worship of Vishnu. Tasmat paratram devi, he's addressing his wife, Parvati, the worship of Vaishnava. Tadiyanam samarchanam. Because by worshipping the pure devotees, they can give us sadhu premna. In Srimad Bhagavatam 3:7, 19, 20, it is further stated, Yat sevaya bhagavata utasta madudvisha rati raso bhavet tivra padayor vasayan ardana. By serving the feet of the spiritual master, Yat sevaya bhagavata, one is enabled to develop transcendental ecstasy in the service of the personality of Godhead. Rati raso bhavet tivra, tivra rasi, who is the unchangeable enemy of the Madhu demon, Kutastha Madhudvisha, and whose service vanquishes one's material distress. Padayor Vasayan Ardana. Ardana means, vanquish. Vasayan means the vasanas. Further, Durapyayal Patapasa Seva Vaikunta Vartmasu Yatropakagiyate Nityam Deva Devo Janardana. Persons whose austerity is meager. Dura Alpa. Durapya Alpa Tapasa. Alpa Tapasya can hardly obtain the service of the pure devotees who are progressing on the path back to the kingdom of God at the Vaikunta. Seva Vaikunta Vartmasu. Vartmasu means they are on the path of Vaikunta. So to get seva from such pure devotees, those who have very little austerity, it's difficult. Pure devotees are engaged 100% in glorifying the Supreme Lord. Yatra upagiyate nityam, who is the Lord of the demigods and the controller of all living entities. Deva Devo Janardana. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila it is said, Bhakta Pada Duli Ar Bhakta Pada Jal Bhakta Bhukta Avashesha Tini Mahabal. The dust of the feet of the devotee, Bhakta Pada Duli, the water that has washed the feet of the devotee, Bhakta Pada Jal, and the remnants of food left by the devotee, Bhakta Bhukta Avashesha, are three powerful substances. Tina Mahabal. Which was the fourth one Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned? Raise your hands. Which was the fourth one also he mentioned? Anyone remembers? Which was the fourth one he spoke about also? Anyone? I spoke already in the commentary. I showed the commentary also. Which is the fourth powerful substance? Virendra Yadav Prabhuji. Dr. Archana Mataji.
Prabhuji, could you repeat the question, please?
There is in this verse mentioned Bhakta Pada Duli, the dust of the feet of the devotee, Bhakta Pada Jal, the water that has washed the feet of the pure devotee, and the remnants of the pure devotee. These are the powerful substance to eradicate Pratishta Asha. That was Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the commentary. There is another, apart from these three, there is another one, which is also very powerful.
Instructions, Prabhuji.
Instructions, yes, instructions. Please remember. So please read Updeshamrit, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Bhagavad Gita, and it is directly associating with Prabhupada. In Chaitanya Charitamrit, Adi Lila, it is said, Ei teen seva hai te Krishna prema hoy, puna puna sarva shastra pukariya kahay. By rendering service to these three, Ei teen seva hai te, one attains the supreme goal of ecstatic love for Krishna. Krishna prema hai. In all the revealed scriptures, Sarva Shastre, this is loudly declared, Pukariya kahe, again and again, puna puna. Now, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a pastime of, I think, Kaliya Das, who had so much faith in the remnants of the devotees that he used to go offer them, fruits like mango. And when the mango, the cover and the seed is thrown in the backyard, he used to go there and relish that. Such faith he had in the remnants of the devotees. And because he had such faith, the Lord blessed him and he attained Krishna Prem. He was already having Krishna Prem. But when he came to Jagannath Puri, when Mahaprabhu used to go to take darshan of Jagannath, in the Simhadwara, there is the place where you can wash your feet and enter. And Mahaprabhu's servants, powerful servants, is to not allow anyone to take that water. But Kaliya Krishnadas, when he came to Jagannath Puri, he just went straight in front of Mahaprabhu, took the water right from the feet of Mahaprabhu and drank it not once, not twice, not three times, and Mahaprabhu did not forbid him. He allowed him because he had faith in these three things, especially the remnants of the Lord, and he had attained Krishna Prem. So that is more important for us. But following the instructions of the spiritual master and applying them in our life. By reading the instructions, we are situated at the feet of the spiritual master. Our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and all the Goswamis. If we are reading Updeshamrit, we are situated at the feet of Srila Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami and all the Goswamis. When we follow their instructions, we are directly serving them. Please remember. So here, these are Tina Mahabal, the embrace of the devotees purifying, the foot dust of the devotees purifying, and the remnants which Narad relished and he attained Prema. Now, I remember many years back, we had gone to Navdeep Dham Mandal Parikrama, and many devotees in Harihara Kshetra, we did Kirtan there. We did Kirtan, and in the night, we were staying in the tents. So one devotee in the late night somehow went to this temple, and the locals there, they were, these devotees have come and have done Kirtan. So they had so much faith in the dust of these devotees that they were taking the dust and applying in their feet, and they were rolling in the feet, rolling in the ground. So we were amazed seeing the video that this is the kind of faith these devotees have in the dust of the devotees, and actually they have attained prema, and that's why they know the value of it. So this is how powerful these substances are. By having this, one will attain prema. So the Pandavas, they are the generals in the devotee army who will, these are sadhus who will throw away this unchaste prostitute. Okay. Now further, Srila Rupa Goswami says in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1:2-119, Yavanti Bhagavad Bhakter Angani Katahitahiya Prayastavanti Tad Bhakta Bhakter Api Buddha Vidu. Of all the limbs of bhakti that have been described here, Angani Katayan Iha, in this book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in relation to Lord Krishna, Yavanti Bhagavad Bhaktir, the intelligent, Buddha Vidu, consider most of them to be Prayastavanti, also to be applicable, Bhakterapi, to the Lord's devotees, Tad Bhakta. So we usually bathe the deity and take the Charnamrit. This is also applicable to devotee. So all the limbs, 64 limbs of bhakti, like we should surrender to Krishna, offer dandavats to Krishna, offering dandavats to the pure devotees. All that is mentioned for Krishna, it is applicable for devotees. So similarly, taking the Charnamrit of the deity and taking the Charnamrit which has washed the pure devotee also is an ang of bhakti. That is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur has quoted this. Srila Rupa Goswami describes how Bhava Bhakti manifests by association with pure devotees in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So how Bhava Bhakti will establish? This is a very, very beautiful verse. Dhrigambo bhirdau tapulaka patali mandite tanu skalayannanta pullodad dadi pratham vepatum api drisyor kaksham yavan mama na purushasakopya upayayo na jane kim tavan matiriha grahana bire mate. Ever since I saw that person, mama sa purusha sakopi. Ever since I saw that person whose heart was filled with spiritual ecstasy, drig ambobhir dhauta pulakapati mandita tanum. His body was decorated with ecstatic symptoms, the Ashtasattvik Vikars, exhibited through flowing tears. Drishyo Kakshamayan, erect bodily hair, stumbling and shivering, Skalayan Nanta, full Uddhada, Dadi Prutham Vepathum Api. I do not know what has happened. Na jane kim tawan. My mind simply refuses to take interest anymore in household affairs. Matir iha grahana abhira mate. So please remember, if you go and meet a pure devotee who is absorbed in transcendental ecstasy and you become attracted to him and you start forgetting taking interest in family life, that means Bhava Bhakti is manifesting in your heart. So there is a classic example in the Jaiva Dharma. In the Jaiva Dharma, one Varanasi Mayavadi sannyasi sitting in his kutir. He has studied all the Shad Darshans. He has traveled to all the holy places. For 20 years, he's in the renounced order of life, doing a lot of tapasya. Suddenly from his kutir, he sees a pure devotee, chanting the name of Krishna, Hey Radhe, Hey Krishna, and he's running. And his body is decorated with all the ecstatic symptoms. And just having darshan of him, suddenly he experiences an ecstasy in his heart. And he's wondering, what is this ecstasy? So many years of tapasya, I have not experienced this ecstasy. What is this ecstasy just by having darshan of the sadhu? But because he's a Mayavadi sannyasi, he little hesitates to go and, meet this Vaishnav sannyasi. But later on, because he had this darshan, he ultimately inquires from others and he comes to know that he's a Vaishnav sannyasi. And he goes to Jagannath Puri from Varanasi, he goes to Navdeep. And then he meets one sannyasi there called Premanandas Babaji Maharaj. And there, he asks him philosophical questions and then he becomes his disciple. And then this Mayavadi sannyasi becomes a Vaishnav sannyasi. So this is how Bhava Bhakti manifests in others. So there are other verses in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu which speak about it. Okay. So this is regarding the commentary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Any questions, any clarifications before we go to Manashiksha Bhasha? One second. Yes. Yes, Dr. Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam. Is Bhava Bhakti first step of Vairagya then?
Is Bhava Bhakti what?
Is it first stage towards Vairagya?
First stage towards Vairagya. Okay, interesting question. Actually, when we take up to devotional service, there is gradual development to Krishna, Krishna's devotees, the chanting of the holy name. All these natural attachments start happening, spiritual attachments. Gradually, material attachments start dwindling. So, Vairagya starts manifesting from the beginning stages only. But having said that, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janeti Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Tad Ahetukam, as it is mentioned in 127, that when this Bhakti Yoga fully matures at Bhava stage, there is 100% or 99.9% or 99.5%, we can say, attachment towards Krishna. Because at Asakti, our mind is already attracted to Krishna. Bhava means, there is development of clearly love. So there is spontaneous attraction towards Krishna and there is complete detachment from matter. So the full development of Vairagya happens there. But even in the beginning stages, there is gradual development of Vairagya. Is it clear, Mataji?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions regarding Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary? Okay, so then I will take the Manashiksha Bhasha now. Okay. सुनो मन निगुड़ वचन प्रतिष्ठा आशा दृष्ट अधम चंडालिनी हृदय मम यत काल करिबे नर्तन. Suno man, listen, O mind, to those secrets word. Niguda vachan. Oh, this line I forgot, sorry. Kapatata hoile dura pravesh primera pura जीवेर हृदय धन्य करे अथैव बहुयत्ने आनी बारे प्रेम रत्ने कपट्य राके ह अति दूरे. Once deceit is cast away, kapata hoila dure, a living being's heart becomes blessed. Jivera hridaya dhanya kare, and one enters the city of sacred love. Preme pravesha premera pura. Pura means the city of love. Therefore take great care, ataiva bahuyat, to keep pretense far away from you. Kapatya rakya haya ati dure. When try to acquire the jewels of love. Anibara premaratna. So how this kapata comes out? Because of the pratisthasha that he now brings out in the next line. Shuno man, listen, O mind, to these secrets words. Niguda vachan. As long as yatakal, my audacious desire for fame in the form of a fallen low class dog-eating woman, pratishtha asha drushtva adhama chandalini, shall remain karibe nartan within my heart. Hriday mama. Kapatya tad upapati nachadibe mamamati swapachini yahe hoyadura तदर्थे यत्न करे प्रभु पृष्ठ पद धरी सेवा तुम्ही कर प्रचुर. Her paramour tad upapati, deceit. So Pratishta, who is a dog-eating woman, prostitute, her paramour is kapatya, deceit, will not stop holding sway over my mind. Na chadive mamamati, to cast away the dog eater. Sopechini yahe hai dhure. Hold on to the feet of the beloved devotees of the Lord. Prabhu preshta padadhari. Very carefully. Tadarte yatna kari, and render a lot of service. Seva tumi kara prachur. So this is the solution, very simple solution to throw out this unchaste dog-eating prostitute who will associate with her paramour in the form of deceit. Tena Prabhu Senapati Vikrama Kariyati Swapachini Sange Chhadiya Radha Krishna Prema Dhane Dibe Kabe Akinchane Bole Bhakti Vinod Kandiya. Bhakti Vinod Thakur weeps, asking, Bole Bhakti Vinod Kandiya, when, Kabe, will the commander-in-chief of the Lord, Tena Prabhu Senapati, take me away chivalrously, Vikrame Karayati, from the company of dog-eater, Sopechini Sanga Chadiya, and give me Dibe Akinchane, the treasure of love for Radha and Krishna. Radha Krishna Prema Rane. So this is how he is praying here. Okay. So anything regarding the Bhajan Darpan Bhasha, the Manashiksha Bhasha? Anyone has any questions? Any questions, any clarifications? Okay, one question is there. Yes, Sunita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. I had this question regarding the previous verse. Bhakta Pada Duli, Bhakta Pada Jala, Bhakta Bhukta Avashesha, and instructions. So among these, which is the prominent one?
There's nothing like mentioned that this is first, this is second, this is third. All three are potent. Eitina Mahabal. And for us, the most important is, following the instructions given by the spiritual master by reading Upadeshamrit, Bhakti Rasamrit, Sindhu, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So by that, slowly, that deep faith will also come. So we should follow that. But all three are potent. All three are potent. I hope
And Prabhuji, one more question I had that Bhakta Pada Dhuli, Bhakta Avashesha, all these three, they shouldn't be taken without the consent of the guru or the sadhus and devotees. It is said like that. Is it true?
Yes, no sadhu or guru will give also, but we should be intelligent enough how to, get their mercy. If the sadhu is sitting on a asana and he has kept his feet there and sitting on a chair, so his dust is there, and after he leaves, we can bathe in it. Or the sadhus we invite home for prasad, and then after that, not in front of them, when we take the plate away, then we get the chance to take their avashesh. So we should be eager and hankering for it. That's the point. Is it clear, Mataji? I hope it's clear, right?
Yes. Yes, very clear, Prabhuji.
In this context, I would like to mention something that it requires deep faith in these subjects. And especially those who are practicing devotees, they have faith in the advanced devotees who are sannyasis, who are Mahabhagavats in, these Tina Mahabal. But in fact, there are devotees who might be very advanced, but they might, have faith in Vaishnavas who are also beginners and they have that that's why they can do the acts. But we hesitate to. Hare Krishna. Sorry, the line got cut.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So
Hare
what I'm
Krishna.
mentioning that these devotees have faith, and even from new beginners, they might, take their avashisht. Because they have that level of faith and the purity, they will still get the mercy. But others might, lack that faith and they might not do that acts, and it is proper for them not to do that act. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that Swapachi Garaya Magvi go Bhiksha. That in Navdeep I'll be wandering in divine ecstasy. Kabe Gauravane Suradhuni Tate Ha Radha Ha Krishna Boli. When I will wander in the Avdut Vesha in Navdeep Mandal, calling out the names of Ha Radha, Ha Krishna, and I'm experiencing, ecstasy in my heart. I will go to a house of a dog eater and there I will take Bhiksha. Now you might wonder, how can, you take Bhiksha from a dog eater's house? It's contaminated. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur can do it because he is pure at heart. He will not get affected by it. So that's why that understanding also we should have. So I just mentioned that. I hope
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Before this point, nothing was clear because the voice was breaking too much, Prabhuji. So we couldn't hear anything.
okay. The point was that sometimes some devotees not only take the remnants of sannyasis and advanced devotees, but they take the remnants of even new devotees. The reason is that they have that kind of faith in Vaishnavas, faith in the Shastra. And because they have that faith and purity, they get benefited. But others who lack that faith, they might have faith only in advanced devotees, remnants, but not in the new devotees who are taken up to Krishna consciousness. They might not have that faith, and doing so also will not be favorable for their devotional service. But those who are at the intermediate level, who have that kind of faith, they might do for both advanced devotees as well as for new beginners, and they are properly situated, they are doing it rightly. That's what I wanted to mention. Okay. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, if it is same, the result is same by taking the remnants of
No, the result is not same. The result depends on the level of the purity of the recipient who is taking it. The result depends on the level of faith, how much deep faith he has in the remnants. Somebody, might lack less faith, and that will have a different impact on him. It's not the same result.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that in Chaitanya Charitamrita that a person who he says Hare Krishna, he says the name of Krishna or he takes the mantra once, he's a devotee.
Correct.
So we can take his remnants also.
But you have that faith. He's a Vaishnava, but
if one develops faith,
and that faith is a very advanced level of faith. We cannot imitate that. We see him as a Vaishnava, because he has taken the name of Krishna. It doesn't mean that we go and offer a full Sakshat Dandavat to him. Uttam Adhikari, we offer full Sakshat Dandavat and he can receive that Dandavat. But if a new devotee is offered such full Dandavat, he will develop pride. He's still not free from anarthas. And he might think I'm a sannyasi, that they are offering me obeisances. So that's why, according to their level, we have to respect them. That's why for such a person who takes the name, we offer manasadriyeta. In our mind, we offer respects, not by offering a full dandavat. So we'll have to deal with the Vaishnavas according to their levels. That's the point.
yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Any other questions or clarifications? Okay, so we will stop here. Tomorrow we will begin with the commentary of Shivram Swami Maharaj and Bhakti Vigyan Goswami Maharaj. Shri Manah Siksha ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami ki Jai. Hare Krishna.